Hello, friends. I'm Beth, and this is Social Leopards. Today's episode is about something that sounds peaceful in theory, but often feels impossible in practice: slowing down. Now, if you're like me, your first thought might be, "Ooh, that sounds great, but exactly who has time for that?" We live in a world that treats rest like an optional feature you can unlock only after you've earned it. We wear busy like a badge of honor. And the second we stop moving, our brains immediately begin whispering, "Shouldn't you be doing something?" It's kind of ironic, right? We crave calm, but the moment we do have it, we start scrolling, planning, reorganizing our pantry, anything to fill the stillness. Because in this day and age, stillness has become suspicious. If you're not hustling, what are you doing? The truth is, most of us have been trained to believe that productivity equals success. The faster you move, the more together you must be. But that's not actually how it works. What I've learned, and I'm still learning every day, is that slowing down doesn't mean giving up on ambition. It means remembering why we were chasing it in the first place. Let me rewind a little bit. Somewhere along the line, hustle stopped being a temporary push and became a permanent identity. Suddenly, every hour of the day had to be optimized. We started tracking our sleep, tracking our steps, tracking our focus, tracking our water intake, as if life itself were a project management application. And while all that data might look impressive, it's not the same as living. I know that personally, I watch my Apple Watch daily, and if I don't close those activity rings, I somehow feel a sense of failure. It's not a great feeling to not reach that daily goal, but it happens some days. I'm tied to my desk during office hours, and certain days legitimately have more meetings than others, and that makes it harder for me to keep up with the little time to stand up prompts, especially if I'm taking notes. And I'm not even going to address the fact that I have a stand-up desk at my beck and call. I forget about that action of moving the desk up or moving the desk down when I'm in deep focus mode, or at least that's what I tell myself. But life isn't an app or a journal or a spreadsheet. It's a sensory experience. It's the way your dog sighs when they finally settle at your feet. It's the softness of light filtering through the curtains when the world outside still is yawning awake. But we miss those details when we're rushing. I think that's what struck me most recently, how easy it is to move through a whole day without actually being in it. You can be busy from dawn to dusk, checking boxes, clearing emails, and you still fall into bed wondering why you feel like nothing meaningful happened. That's kind of one of the dangers of speed. It gives this illusion of progress, but not necessarily peace. Now, before anyone thinks I'm advocating for a life of sitting around snacking and binge watching on Netflix, let me clarify. Slowing down doesn't mean abandoning structure. It means bringing more intention to your pace and the way you move through life. Here's an example. A few weekends ago, I caught myself doing that thing where I was multitasking to the point of ridiculousness. I had a podcast outline open. I was texting back and forth with a family member. A laundry cycle was mid-spin, and I had a grocery list forming inside my head. And while I'd love to say I was handling it gracefully, in reality, I was one step away from calling myself unfit for adulting. Finally, I stopped. I closed my laptop. I grabbed a glass of water, and I went outside and sat for 10 minutes. I didn't have my phone on me. I had no agenda for taking the break. I just took it. There was no multitasking going on. I was just sitting. And it was oddly uncomfortable at first. My brain kept itching to use the time. But then after a few minutes, I noticed things I hadn't in a while. I started enjoying the chirping sound of the birds. I saw a little squirrel. I could smell the grass. I was watching the leaves kind of twitch on the ground because there was a little breeze going on. Some of them were really this beautiful, brilliant red and orange in color, and those are my favorite fall leaf colors. It was quiet, and it was deeply human. That's the magic of slowing down. It reintroduces you to the life that's been happening right in front of you. We talk a lot about mindfulness, but slowing down is what actually makes mindfulness possible. It's hard to notice your thoughts or breathe deeply when you're sprinting through your day like you're being timed. And when you think about it, our obsession with speed, it's not new. It's just been rebranded. We've replaced keeping up with the Joneses with keeping up with the algorithm. We've turned our calendars into a competitive sport. Even restful practices have evolved into goal-oriented activities. If you meditate for 10 minutes, you'll boost productivity by 20%. It's like, can we not just breathe without it being a business strategy? The irony is that slowing down actually makes you more capable, not less capable. When you stop rushing, your creativity comes back. Your sense of humor resurfaces. You start showing up in your relationship differently. You aren't as distracted. You're more engaged. And those things, they matter because you're not meant to live like a machine. You're meant to ebb and flow, to have seasons of acceleration and seasons of rest, to experience not just the highlight reel, but the quiet, unfiltered moments in between. Maybe that's why the simplest rituals tend to feel so restorative. Cooking a meal from scratch, that's one of my favorites. Folding laundry without a podcast in your ear. Watering plants and taking long enough to notice which ones are thriving and which ones need a little bit of TLC. Those tiny moments remind us that life's beauty is all around us, in the everyday, ordinary moments. It only requires us to be present. Now, I realize that slowing down doesn't come naturally for most of us. We've been conditioned to equate stillness with something on the not enough spectrum. So when we stop, we worry. Maybe the inner critic that I talked about earlier this season is chastising us, warning us that we're not doing enough or we're falling behind. But hear what I'm telling you. There is no behind. There's just where you are. And where you are is allowed to be enough. The other day, someone told me they feel guilty when they rest. I've accused myself of that on occasion, so I get it. We are wired to believe that rest has to be earned, that slowing down is something you do only after you've proven your worth. But what if rest isn't a reward? What if you start to view it as a requirement? You don't water a plant after it blooms, you water it so it can bloom. The same goes with you. So what does slowing down actually look like in real life? It might mean building pauses into your day, just short ones, the kind where you take that breath before you answer an email, or you sit quietly in your car before rushing into the next thing, whatever that might be. It might mean letting dinner be a slow affair instead of a rushed one, with casual conversation that isn't sticking to an established timeline. It might mean resisting the urge to fill every free minute with productivity, because sometimes the most productive thing you can do is to stop measuring your worth in output and start noticing your life in motion. For me, slowing down has become kind of an ongoing practice, a rhythm I have to return to again and again. Some days I'm good at it, other days I fail, but every time I remember to pause, something shifts. My mind clears, my body feels lighter, the world softens at the edges. And the most surprising part is when I do pick up the pace again, when it's time to create or move or hustle, I actually do it with more clarity and joy because I've given myself the grace to recharge. Slowing down isn't about doing less in life, it's about experiencing more of it. Think about it. Some of your best memories probably weren't the rushed activities or the obligatory ones for that matter. They were the moments where time seemed to stretch. Maybe you enjoyed a sunset or a conversation or a brief moment of laughter that made your ribs ache. Those are the moments that remind us why we do all the rest of it. So if you've been running on empty, this is your permission slip to slow down without guilt. Let the laundry wait. Let your inbox be imperfect. Let yourself be human. Take a walk with no destination. Cook something that takes longer than it should. Look up from your screen and make eye contact with the world again. You might be surprised by what's waiting there for you. It's probably not going to be something new, but something old and familiar. Most of all, I'm hoping you sense a feeling of enoughness. Is that a word? Well, it is today. The world will keep spinning, your phone will keep buzzing, but you don't have to match its pace. You get to set your own pace. There's a writer, not sure how to say his name, but I came across a post where his words were quoted. I think you say it pico hier, and the quote was this: "In an age of speed, nothing could be more invigorating than going slow." So maybe slowing down isn't a retreat. Maybe it's a revolution, a quiet one, a steady one, the kind that doesn't shout but changes everything nonetheless. You're not behind. You're not wasting time. You're just remembering what time feels like when it's truly yours. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me today. If this episode was meaningful to you, I hope you share it with someone who's been sprinting through life lately. Maybe they could use a reminder to pause too. And until next time, take a deep breath, shake the tension out of your shoulders, and let yourself arrive where you are. Because this unhurried, ordinary, perfectly imperfect moment is what life actually feels like when you stop rushing past it. Thanks for listening. Until next time, take care.